Hello, Black Eagles. Welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. Today we are going to preview Thursday's important match in the Europa League against the Netherlands side FC Twente. And joining me right now to tell us a little bit more about our opponents on Thursday is Julian Vriend. Julian, thank you very much for joining us on
No
the
problem.
show.
Thanks for having me.
Julian, tell us a little bit more about yourself so our viewers and listeners know what your expertise is on the team.
My name is Julian Vriend, and I work for a year and a half now in football journalism. I started as I did a radio program traveling with FC Twente and doing radio commentary for like the fans who couldn't travel. So we had like 6 to 12,000 listeners when people couldn't watch the game. That's when my love with the club started, and I traveled the whole of Holland with them. And now a year and a half, I'm the club watcher here at our local news station, 1 Twente. And every week we travel to the training ground, speak with the coaches, speak with the players. And next to that, I present a television program about FC Twente and Heracles Almelo, another local city near Twente. So a lot of expertise in that area.
So how old are you, Julian, if you don't mind me asking?
26. I'm 26 years old.
Oh, you're 26, so
Yes.
how old were you then when Twente last won the Eredivisie? Because that's...
It was
must be 10
in
plus years
2010.
ago.
It was 14 years ago. I was 12 years old.
Oh, was it the season with Steijn and all that, or was that
Steijn Huizegems probably was. No, it was the season with Blaise and Kufo, Brian
yeah.
Ruiz,
Brian Ruiz, of
the
course.
legendary FC Twente team, Wout Brama, Sander Bosker, and they became the champions of Europe. The champions of the Netherlands. We are going through it now.
Of course. Didn't Randall also FIFA play in that team as well, or am I wrong?
I don't know for sure, but I was 12 years old. Maybe my memory is a bit foggy about that area.
No, I'm just trying to remember, because I remember Brian Ruiz played for Ghent in Belgium, and also FIFA played there as well. And then I don't know if I remember correctly, but I thought he also
It was
moved,
the year we were champion. It was with Steve McLaren as coach.
yes,
He left.
right.
It was his opus magnum. He became champion of Holland, the most favorite coach probably in the whole history of FC Twente. I don't know for sure, but one of the most popular. And the year after it, Michel Prudhomme came and became the champion and almost got prizes the year after. But it wasn't the same because Ajax took it the last game of the season.
But FC Twente have had a down period afterwards. They went down to the second division, but now they're back, and they've been back for a couple of seasons in the Eredivisie now, and knocking again on the doors of Europe. Of course, qualifying for the Europa League this season, in a good position domestically this season as well, in fourth or in fifth, I want to say.
Sixth.
Oh, sixth, but with 34 points, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, so we are. It's like a carousel in the top of Dutch football. It's like we have 34 points. Behind us are Go Ahead Eagles with 31, and then AZ, Feyenoord, and even FC Utrecht are above it. And then you have like a small point gap to Ajax and not a small point gap to PSV.
yeah, but Utrecht are having an amazing season. I saw 41 points. It's incredible.
Yes, it's the old FC Twente coach went there. They were last when he came. It was Ron Jans, and Ron Jans is a fan favorite here as well because he took FC Twente back to the European stage, like the qualifying round where they lost and didn't qualify for the Conference League, I think. And next season we got the new coach Joseph Oosting, and Ron Jans went to Utrecht and took them to basically a top team and never switched a lot of players around.
Didn't he do the same thing with Pek Zwolle? Didn't he get them into Europe as well?
Yeah, it was Ron Jans is like an incredible coach with mediocre teams, but FC Twente is like a bigger team, but at the time we were mediocre. We had a lot of problems with the players we bought and the players who came. A lot of unknown Spanish players. We call it also the Spanish area of the Spanish era. Like a lot of unknown players.
We have that with Portuguese players.
It's no identity at the players, and it was fun for a couple of years, but we came back from the second division, almost went bankrupt, so that was a very heavy period for the club. The points deductions and like the morale never changed. The morale here in Twente is something else.
Yeah, and of course you're famous as well for your home stadium, the Grolsvesten. Very
Yes.
strong home reputation.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about the coach first. Joseph Oosting, you already referred to him. I'm not too familiar with him, actually. What kind of a coach is he? Is he an attacking-minded coach? What's his philosophy?
Joseph Oosting is a very personal coach. He's a very people-minded, and he came from RKC Waalwijk. And RKC wasn't a good team in Holland, and he took them to, we call it linkerrijtje, to the upper echelons of the Dutch competition. And he did it so well. It was an eye-opening moment for the Dutch football. He's like maybe like a Simeone type of trainer. It's like his players aren't the best, but they work together. He makes it like a friend team. He always calls it like we have a friend team. We are just playing well because we want to die for each other. We want to do everything together. And he has that also in his outings. He goes to dinner with players just to ask them, are you feeling well? Because if there's the slightest bit of insecurity in a player, he will take that away.
Sounds good. And how is he received by the fans? How is he seen right now?
Everybody's a fan. It's like it was very hard to fill the shoes of Ronnie Jans, but he did fill the shoes, and he did qualify for European football. Like we had the game against Fenerbahce. We lost that one. Also
Last season.
Yeah, it was the 1-5 of the 5-1 away. A very early red card for Yuri Regeer. Mm-hmm. And then even with 5-1 against, still people had hope to win, like with big numbers at home. It's the people here are crazy about football.
Well, you of course played Fenerbahce last season twice. I think that was what was it, like the 16th or the round of 32 or something?
No, it was the qualifying round.
Was it the qualifiers? Okay, I thought it was the game before Olympiacos.
Okay. No, we played them last year in the group stage. This year.
Oh, was it this year? I know. This year ended in 1-1, right?
Yeah, it was 1-1 at home, and we played them. I think last year it was a qualifying game for Europe, but we lost that.
Oh, was it?
It was the last qualifying round to get ourselves to the. I think Europa League was it, and the year before we were knocked out by Fiorentina.
Yeah, that's tough cookies to crack, of course. I mean, Fiorentina, Fenerbahce. So now Beşiktaş are next, and this is a very important game for both of our teams because Twente with a win, I think, will almost certainly guarantee themselves to the next round. I'm not sure if it's guaranteed because you would get 10 points, and I think there's.
I had it in my program. There are 6 ways FC Twente can place if we win. Yeah. And it depends on some games like AZ Alkmaar need a draw or win by 2 goals. If Tottenham wins from Elfsborg, we qualify when we win. And when Frankfurt wins against AS Roma, we also go through. So there are 6 games. Also PAOK versus Real Sociedad is a game. So everybody will be watching the game, but also watching their phones because we need to calculate everything.
Yeah, for sure. For Beşiktaş, it's a little simpler. A win would secure them 100% guarantee to the next round. A draw.
11 points, right?
That would put them on 12 points.
12.
So they have 9 now. And a draw would put them on 10. But with a draw, Beşiktaş aren't certain yet because we have a pretty bad goal differential. We are on -4, I think. So
goals against Ajax.
A loss against Ajax, also against Maccabi Tel Aviv, which was a very... I mean, Beşiktaş have had essentially 3 home games this entire campaign because we had to play that home match against Maccabi on neutral ground.
Yes.
And it was also in the midst of the crisis when the team was like completely off the rails. It was the worst timing ever for us. I mean, honestly, if that match would have been played under somewhat normal circumstances at home, I think we always win it, and then this game would be unimportant for us. Of course, assume. But now we have to at least get a point, and even with a point, we aren't certain yet. There's a good chance with a point, but a win is needed to be certain, and that won't be easy. I think because Twente are.
It's like FC Twente are struggling for form at the moment. That's a thing that's for certain because we had games in the competition that really didn't end well. We had the game against Go Ahead Eagles, which we lost like badly. But the Grolsvesten has something, and I read and I heard around in the city because if you walk around Enschede right now, you feel it already. You feel like the tension that the whole city has, and there was a bit of fuss about the fans not joining in, but now I think 30,000 people will make it, like they call it here in Enschede, the hell van Enschede. It's the hell of Enschede, and I think that will, it will be like Turkish games. If you come there, you're 1-0 behind. So then the best may win.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the team, and then we're going to go a little bit more into what you said there earlier about the fans. Because Beşiktaş fans initially weren't going to be allowed to come, but I want to talk about that later. But let's talk a little bit about the way Twente play. What type of formation does Oosting usually use? What are the strengths of the team? Are they strong on, for example, set pieces or anything like that? And what are their weaknesses? What are Beşiktaş going to have to look to exploit?
They play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 with an high pressing front line. Normally you would have Van Wolfswinkel. He's like the old guy in the team, but also we call him a sneaky player because he's like a rat. You can't catch him, and he will strike. And we have Sam Steijn. Sam Steijn is probably the best player they have. There is interest from probably all around the globe for him. He has the most goals in the Eredivisie. He's the best player. It's a young player from The Hague, and he is something else. He's something people want to go to the stadium, but he's also a player who, if he doesn't get in the game, you can exploit it because he will be tired after 60 minutes because he gives so much energy and so much leadership on the field. It isn't strange that he doesn't finish the game like 90 minutes because it's high intensity. And then we have the problems, and that's the exploitation bit. We can't score on the wings. So don't use backs. They're not necessary. You can just play three defensively. We have Mitchell van Bergen. He's a very fast player, probably one of the fastest of the whole of Holland. But the last time he scored was probably in 2018, I think. He went to France in 19 maybe, but he's not that well. And also we don't have a lot of support on the wing. So if one player falls out or isn't playing well, you don't have the Europa League kind of player who fixes that. On the left, it's a question if FC Twente gets a transfer done by time, and I don't know if he's playing then because FC Twente are finishing a transfer. Probably he will be joining today. I heard.
As far as I know, new transfers are not allowed to play in.
Oh
these
no, they're
matches.
not. They're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. But then probably Michel Flap will play on the midfield with Sadilek.
Yeah.
And Sadilek is also a young player, came from PSV. And he's like the breaker in midfield. Also, we have a very good right back, a young center back. Maybe that's if you want to exploit. He made the mistake from the 2-3 from Malmö last week. I don't know if you saw the goal. But he.
No, I didn't. I did see the penalties that you got.
Oh, they were for free that night.
Yeah. I mean,
I went to IKEA and got free penalties as well.
I mean, we were all watching that game, the result of it, of course, because I couldn't get it on the channels I had weren't showing it. But we were following it nervously because we knew if Twente didn't win, then you would be out, and then of course this match would have a very different meaning for you guys. It would just be, the final.
It would just be gallery play, yeah.
Exactly, but it would not be at the highest tension, perhaps. Maybe it could have an opposite effect, of course, because there's no more pressure. Maybe then that has a freeing. That frees the players a little bit of that and just gets them to showcase themselves. But on the other hand, it can also have the effect that, okay, this is a match, it's just a rubber match, we were playing it for nothing really. So for us it was kind of like, let's hope Twente doesn't win, but then you guys won.
It was close. It was a very difficult game. But the one thing, if you watch the game, that you would have seen is that we have a very young center back, but I don't know if he plays because we had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And one of the center backs is coming back from injury. It's Mees Hilgers. He just chose to play for Indonesia. Instead of Holland, so he was back in training, didn't play in a couple of months. Maybe he's back. We have Gustav Lagerbielke. He came from Celtic. He's a good defender. He played really well against Malmö. And we have the best keeper in the league with Lars Oenestal.
Yeah, maybe we can sign him then, because our goalkeeper is like.
It's the best goalkeeper in the whole competition, and even the Ajax fans, Feyenoord fans, they will agree with that. It's unanimously he's the best, but he's not the youngest as well.
How old is he? Is it 28 or something?
No, I think 32, 33.
Oh, okay.
And in Holland, we have a tradition of keeping keepers till they're very old.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? I mean. Ajax have Pasveer right now, right?
Pasveer,
and he's like
39, 40, I think.
Yeah, 40 something,
and Van Sar, he was 43.
Yeah.
Still
PSV don't have the best goalkeeper, I know. What's his name again? I forget.
Walter Benitez.
Benitez, right. But he does some weird stuff sometimes. I mean, most goalkeepers do, to be fair.
FC Twente got Oenestal for free, almost, because they transferred Joel Drommel, the old goalkeeper.
Yeah, right.
And they got Oenestal back for it. And in the end, Oenestal became the better keeper. So we stole that.
That's how do you say it? Is one man's trash is another man's treasure. So that's.
I didn't know it was karaoke podcast, but okay.
Well, I mean, how important is this game for the fans and for the club? How massive is it?
This will be. I think a lot of people will, like the nursery home will be very busy because everyone will be having problems with their heart. In Enschede, it doesn't. Life doesn't depend on it, but everybody loves football. And everybody loves just one club. You don't have a lot of supporters from different clubs here, because everybody is known with FC Twente. It's like a statue in the city. This is our club, this is our identity, and people are very protective about it. And every club has it difficult when they come to Enschede, and that's because of the intensity of the supporters. It's luckily for the people playing that we have like a gracht. How do you call it in English?
A channel, I guess.
A channel, like in between the seats in the stands and the field, because if it would be against the field, it would feel like just another hostile stadium. But I heard, and that's the word going around, that every supporter who joins the game needs to sing for 90 minutes long, and the stadium probably only will be silent if Beşiktaş score for 20 seconds, probably.
Yeah. Well, that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how Beşiktaş are as well, or used to be.
It's if FC Twente was playing in the Turkish competition, it wouldn't stand out, because it's the same intensity as you have in your competition.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to say, a lot of the smaller clubs in Turkey don't even have 30,000 people in their stadium. So
no, that's true. But
yeah, I mean, not with all due respect. I mean, obviously Twente is a big club in the Netherlands, but like compared to like Ajax, PSV, and all that.
But
like,
don't feel big.
No, but you have 30.
That's the funny thing.
You are a big club though, because you do have a very loyal fan base like that, and we have clubs like that in Turkey as well, but they're in the lower leagues because they're run so poorly. Mm-hmm. So we have clubs like Eskişehirspor. They're in like the amateur leagues and they have 35,000 people, but then we have clubs like Başakşehir in the top league who don't even average 3,000. So that's very unfortunate for us, but it's great to see that people are supporting their local clubs in the Netherlands. That's something you really see in the Netherlands. In Germany, you see that a lot as well.
It's like the supporter. The supporters who came to the games is like 100 or 99%. Like every ticket will be sold, and also a thing that is in the mind of a lot of supporters, and it's a thing we heard. I heard a lot of people say in the streets or in the city here. 5 years ago, we were at the lowest point of the club's history, probably, and now we're playing for a place in the I think I don't know if it's a round of 60, but the round of 32, the final 32. But that will be a special moment, because the last time FC Twente did that, it was in 2012.
Yeah.
So it was 13 years ago. The last time we just got through in Europe, and we lost immediately the game after against Schalke. But a lot of people depend their lives on it.
Do you think the proximity to Germany maybe has something to do with the fact, because in Germany you see that as well, like the local teams are everything. Second Bundesliga has a ridiculous average attendance.
Even
I think
30.
Yeah, and do you think that the proximity from NCD to Germany has something to do with that mentality, perhaps?
I think so, because FC Twente is working very closely with Schalke 04. It's their partner club, and FC Twente is like a German club in Holland. It's the intensity is a whole different ball game than at Feyenoord or at Ajax or PSV or even Utrecht, the AZ. It's way more German than the people think here. So everybody has something with FC Twente. It's like today I made an item and a special for my local news station, and we went to an FC Twente burying site. Yeah, that's nowhere.
That's insane.
And you come there and it's like a guy from 69, 70 years old, and he's telling his story like I love FC Twente so much, so I dug my own FC Twente burying place.
I mean,
at the local like a cemetery. That's how crazy people are.
I mean, I've heard stories from people in Beşiktaş who have their children's umbilical cords buried under the pitch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's all par for sure. That's some crazy stuff.
No, it is crazy, and that's why I'm telling you, because it's different than in the rest of Holland. Like you have the Amsterdam Arena, Beşiktaş played there, lost 4-0. But
Thank you for reminding us.
yeah, no problem. but still, you were playing very good football, and people will loudly.
We thought we were horrible. I mean.
Oh, because you said to me I wanted to speak to you about FC Twente. I watched the game against Ajax back, and probably for 20 minutes you were controlling the game, unless you didn't.
Yeah, I mean until we made a stupid mistake and then they scored. It's true. Before the goal, I think we had some moments where we almost got through, but the thing that we were really upset about as fans afterwards is. Up until that point, we had played some really good football so far this season, and Giovanni van Bronckhorst went to the arena with almost with like we're the small club, we're the smaller team here. We have to sit back and we have to try and hit them on the counter instead of playing his own game. And I think if he would have lost 4-0, but the team went out with their chests out and playing their own game and with bravado, I think the criticism would have been much milder. But because he went out kind of, it was a little cowardly. It felt like, even though for example, that same approach worked in Lyon. We won away at Lyon 1-0, and if you score first in Amsterdam, given the phase of the season that Ajax was in at the time, maybe you win as well. But that's how football goes, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, the Ajax wasn't also really good at that point. So it will probably the games will be a lot alike. And if I was Beşiktaş and I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I would just go for the early lead, because FC Twente has it difficult with that. We had a couple of games that went our way when the early lead was for the opposing party, but it just the team needs to recuperate from it. So if you have 10, 15 amazing minutes and you score a lot, then everything will go your way. We saw that at Union Saint-Gilloise, that game. Everybody thought easy win.
Yeah.
And we got played like we were destroyed. And everybody left the stadium. We were like, that was like a blitz. We didn't even knew what happened.
Yeah. And what is that Twente are vulnerable to? Is it like counter football? Is it
FC Twente, I think they have a certain type of skill. So every time when they play really well, they when the pressing of the opponent team is really good, they will just start to walk backwards and just defend on their own 16, and they try to make the areas really small. And if you have like the players with the capacity to play through that, it would be a walk in the park. Because for sure, when FC Twente, or even when they will score, they will just go and walk back and defend, and the quality is just a lot higher in the Europa League to play through that. And in the Eredivisie, it saved them a couple times, but you saw it at Malmö. The game didn't need to be 10 minutes longer, or you would lost or draw the game.
Yeah. It sounds very familiar. We have some similar issues, I would say.
Probably the clubs are very similar in the situation where they're in. Only at FC Twente, people like the fans are moaning a lot about the place where they are, and the club isn't moaning a lot because they think this is the place where we should be in the Eredivisie, maybe a place higher. So maybe we're in the same place.
Well, there's quite some chaos at Beşiktaş, I can tell you that. Right now it's a little bit quieter, and it would go a very long way if we could get past FC Twente and get to that next round, whether it's with a draw or a win. I think that would give the club a massive boost, and would give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, a massive boost. Fantastic win last week against Athletic Club, the best football that we've played. I can't remember when I watched the team play better, more disciplined. And then you see the game on the weekend, and it's the complete opposite. It's like everything's out the window, and it's just hard to understand how you can be so focused, so disciplined, and so good against one of the best teams, if not the best team in the Europa League. Because Athletic Bilbao are fantastic this season. They're only 2 points in La Liga behind Barcelona for a reason. Before our game, they only lost 3 times, I think, or 4 times. Sorry, they lost twice against Barcelona, once in the Super Cup, against Atletico de Madrid, and then against Girona. So they beat, for example, Real Madrid and all that. So they are really having a great season. And then on the weekend you play Antalyaspor away, and suddenly it's
you drop everything you've learned.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it feels like. You were talking about how much this is living in the city of Enschede. But how is it in the team? Is it palpable there as well? Do you feel like the players are hyper focused on this?
The players are hyper focused, but the moment I thought they need this, that they don't only want it, but they need it, is when the interviews after the game in Malmö came out, and everybody starts pointing to the fans, like the players are just celebrating with the fans, but also in the interviews afterwards they were like, people in Enschede, we need you. And if that comes really from the heart, you don't want it, you need it. And that's something I see with the players. They're eager. This is the only thing they want, and they probably don't even know who they're playing this weekend. They probably will for sure, but the only Thursdays in the mind of the players right now. Yeah. It's even so, like we had a lot of transfer news the last weeks, because a lot of players of FC Twente are linked with a lot of clubs. We had today Anas Salah Ediene, a player who came from Ajax and is now playing really well at left back. It was that Hoffenheim, Getafe, and PSV are interested in the player, and the club also put out a statement. Even if you're interested, we're not talking to any clubs, especially not before Thursday. So if there's a transfer, we only know it after Thursday.
Okay. That's good. I mean, that's what you want, right? To have these players focused on this. Exactly. How important do you think it is that the Eredivisie scrapped the games for Twente, PSV? I don't know if they scrapped them for PSV, but like for the teams who are in Europe, who are playing for a place in the next round, how important is it that Twente didn't have a game this weekend?
It matters a lot, because you don't have to focus on anything except for this game. So you work to the game in like a whole different way. Because you don't have to play Willem II or Go Ahead Eagles in the weekend. And in Holland, the KNVB just, if you play on Thursday, you get the weekend free if you have like a game in between. We saw it a lot with Ajax in the year they got to the semi-final of the Champions Leagues. But also Feyenoord and AZ, when they play on Thursdays, they're free for the weekend. And I don't think it's fair, because every competition needs to do that.
Yeah, but then the Super League could have done the same thing, right? So that's not. I don't think that's unfair, because I think your FA is doing what's right for the clubs. RFA is just sleeping, so that's not your fault that RFA is incompetent.
No, but if you watch objectively about the whole situation, it's a bit of unfair. But it's for FC Twente like more focus, and maybe from Beşiktaş it's a wake up call, and it's now or never.
Yeah, well, that's one of the feelings I had on the weekend as well, is that maybe I think the players are already thinking of that Thursday game, and they're trying to conserve their energy. We actually had two players.
Won't want to tear your quad when you're playing against Antalyaspor.
Exactly, and we actually had 2 players that had to get subbed off injured, so it's going to be a difficult.
I heard Svensson and
Emirhan Topçu had to come off injured, so I think Svensson will be fine for Thursday, but Emirhan is still a question. And Beşiktaş are having a lot of issues at central defense right now, because Gabriel Paulista is out, Tayyip Talha is out, now Emirhan, Necip Uysal was already injured for a long time, so right now Felix Urukai is the only real central defender who is fit, and then you have Bakhtiar Zainuddinov, who came on for Emirhan in the match against Antalyaspor, but he made a mistake that led to the 1-1. So, I mean, he's generally good at central defender, I think, but maybe that creeps in his head. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. So,
I'm very curious how you are going to fix the central defender position, because in Enschede the news sites are full of it. It's like they only have one pure center half.
So it's really big news then. They're really focusing on it.
Not the biggest news, and then probably the coach and staff will. The one thing I needed to tell before I am going to say what I say is, like, Oosting changes a lot of players in the position depending on the play style of the enemy. So the play style of the opposition. And he probably will be trying something out with the striker to play into that, but I don't know for sure. I haven't spoken to him yet.
Yeah. Okay. And what's the general consensus in the city among the fans? Do they think they're gonna beat Beşiktaş?
No.
Really?
It's 50-50. Some people will say, like, we need to maybe, but like we also know we're playing like a much larger club, historic wise, or maybe football wise. We're just the new guys on the block, and for Beşiktaş, you played a lot of years of European football, so we know our place. But so the people here in the city not particularly say out loud like we're gonna win this easily. No, not for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm gonna say it. Usually, when you have this sort of energy around a match, I mean, it can go both ways, but feels like it's already kind of written how it's gonna go. I kind of have the feeling this is gonna not end in our favor. But
if you have the feeling, we don't need to play the game, right?
But maybe that's just the cynic in me. I don't know. But usually, when when the game is that pumped up, that amped up, it's like it can really play a very, very big part in the outcome of the match. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, we saw it with the Dutch national team, and then we lost to Argentina.
Yeah, that's true, but that's different. That's big for both. I mean, this is also big for Beşiktaş.
We were hyped up.
But I don't know. I know this is very big and important for the club and for the players. I don't know I mean, they were super hyped you could tell, against Athletic Club. Everyone was giving 100%. Everyone was focused. If they can replicate that against Twente, then I think Beşiktaş have a really good chance. But I don't know if they can replicate that. That is what that's my question.
But this campaign is a campaign on story tales already for FC Twente, because we played against Manchester United. We drew an amazing goal of Sam Lammers, and that match for us is history already. So if we go out, we'll still be happy. We had like a fairy tale campaign, drawing against Fenerbahce, Manchester United, Nice. I think I'm forgetting something, but also away in Athens, at home against Union Saint-Gilloise. We had a very difficult draw. And like the game against Manchester United, they even made a documentary about it. So that's how, and we drew. We didn't even win it.
I mean, they could make a documentary about if you win this one, it's definitely, and you qualify. If you win and then the results go your way, that's also worth a documentary, I think.
I know one thing for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if FC Twente won. There would be a pitch invasion. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I hope that doesn't happen, and I hope the footage for the documentary gets thrown in the bin. But I wish you guys, of course, all the best of luck in the Eredivisie.
Thank you
not
very
on
much.
Thursday. No, of course. Hopefully a good game where nobody gets injured, nobody gets hurt, and a match that we can both enjoy.
And a lot of fans from Beşiktaş.
Yes,
luckily
675 fans are being allowed. I think there was supposed to be 1,500, but only half of that. So let's talk a little bit about that, because initially Twente, the burgemeester, I was going to say, the mayor of Twente, of Enschede, sorry, announced that Beşiktaş fans would not be allowed to attend due to their violent history or something like that. But I immediately had the strong feeling of, well, this is just because they had issues with Fenerbahce fans, because there was a lot of footage that I saw where Fenerbahce fans were in the center of the city, misbehaving, and there was just a lot of stuff going on with them. Do you feel like that was an overreaction from the mayor?
I think yes, because we saw the game against Lazio, and the game against Lazio, we made a really nice prison with a park in it, so the people saw nothing of Enschede, and even at the news station we got messages for, like, we want to watch football and also enjoy the city. But the game against Fenerbahce was a very negative one, because early on it was like a very big party in the city, and then the Fenerbahce fans, even though provoked, because some FC Twente fans aren't the nicest, so
that's how football fans are football fans, right? Like,
no blame for them.
You always have on both sides. You're gonna have idiots. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and the FC Twente fans of the Fenerbahce fans broke through. There were a lot of fights, a lot of bars and restaurants had their chairs, tables thrown at supporters from everywhere, and I think this was a repercussion, because, and that's what I don't think I like. But it's a club from Turkey. We have a lot of Beşiktaş fans in Enschede. We also have a lot of Fenerbahce fans in Enschede, because we have a very strong Turkish community here in the city center, and even in the areas here in Enschede. When we have a wijk in the south of the city, there's a very big community of Turkish fans, and we have our own Turkish football fans. And if like Turkey wins at a World Cup, we will hear it here.
I can bet you hear some honking.
They will go around and go honking their horns of their cars, and we enjoy that a lot.
As long as it's not too late, and if you're not putting the baby to bed or something.
I will look away for one time when they do that. But okay, look, for me, nothing was really wrong with the game. But I think the threat of the UEFA and the Beşiktaş laid there maybe changed the mind of Roelof Bleker, our mayor, and maybe he thought, like, let's try. And he has a good sense of heart and of how people like him. He's a very likable character in our city, so he doesn't need to do this as well.
Do you know what exactly the communication by UEFA was regarding this? Because
internally, I don't know for sure, but I know they have spoken. And that was also in the message they sent to the news stations around, like we spoke to the police, and we spoke to the UEFA, and we spoke with FC Twente, and we spoke with everybody, and we're saying we just partially opened our away end, but just don't throw fireworks underneath it. There's a family there, a family section.
Yeah. Well,
so if people listen to this and they go traveling to Enschede, know that their family is in front of you. That's the only thing I'm always worried about.
Maybe they should put the away section somewhere else, not to where the families like.
Maybe in Almelo, in a different city or something.
Well, anyway, thank you very much, Julian, for your time.
No problem.
And for giving us your insights and a very fun conversation. You're clearly very passionate about FC Twente, and it shows.
Yes, thank you very much, and thanks for having me on, Kaan.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Where can people find you online, by the way? Or do you have any Twitter account or something like that?
You can add me on Instagram. It's jvriend98, so jvriend 9 and an 8 behind it. But you can also follow me at 1 Twente, and that's a 1 and 20. And on Voetbaltijd, you will find me, if you type that in on YouTube, you'll find my own television program for people to watch.
Yeah, so for the Dutch speakers among you, go and check that out. Go and check out Julian's his program, and give it a like and a subscribe. And do the same for the Black Eagles podcast if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up and give us a subscribe. And go and check out our Patreon as well for more exclusive content and Beşiktaş podcast and all the jazz. And hopefully a good result on Thursday, a great game. And thank you all for watching.
And may the best win.
Exactly, may the best team win. Bye-bye.